Indeed, 2022 will be an interesting year in the political scene as political parties recalibrate for the push towards the 2023 presidential election. In about 10 days, the All Progressives Congress APC will undertake its much anticipated national convention. As party members jostle for positions, some have already planted their flags on the ground as far as the nation's seat of presidency is concerned. So, former governor of Zamfara State and also a former senator, His Excellency Senator Ahmed Sani, joins me today on Political Update. Your Excellency, welcome to Political Update.
Thank you very much.
Your party convention is already just 10 days away from now. Do you have any fear about the success or otherwise of the convention that is coming up?
Well, I think the consultations going on now will make it easier for the party to come up with a credible candidate and also credible candidate at all levels. You know, politics is about discussions, consultations, and negotiations, and I'm sure we are doing well.
And when we talk of conventions like this, the governors in your party in the various states are, in quote, very powerful. Are you seeing that as a threat to the convention, the position of the governors?
Governors are key stakeholders, you know, from the president, who is the leader of the party at the national level. The governors are leaders of party at the various state levels. Therefore, I think the dialogue, consultation, discussion between Mr. President, the governors and key stakeholders, the National Assembly members, even the State Assembly members, all those who are really concerned with the election, either by way of delegates or by way of being the key stakeholders. The consultation is going on, and I'm sure that things will go very well for APC.
And there is common saying that those that have tested or been in the corridor of power once, they always want to be there. You being a former governor of Zamfara State, former senator, do you want to retire or you want to still be active in the system?
Well, I've already declared my interest in the seat of Mr. President, and I'm sure that the whole nation is aware about it. There are so many associations and groups under the Yerima support organization, YSO, working very hard to mobilize Nigerians across the country, from the south to the west, from the east to the north, and I'm sure they are doing very well.
Okay, but this issue of zoning, though it's not in the constitution, but a kind of gentleman agreement in some instances, do you think the pendulum will swing to your favor in case your party comes up with some gentleman arrangement in terms of rotation or zoning of the presidency? I think you are from the northwest.
Northwest, yes. Yeah. When people talk about gentleman agreement, there is gentleman agreement between two individuals, or between two small groups. But when you have a political party that cut across the nation, women, children, adults, and elders of the party, stakeholders of the party, who will sit down and negotiate on behalf of all Nigerians. There is nothing like gentleman agreement in politics. Politics are about election, and parties are governed by constitution. The whole country, democracy, is governed by constitution. It's a rule of law. So you cannot go outside the constitution and say you want to create something else called dialogue or discussion about or negotiation or agreement or understanding. So it has to be anything that you want to do must be in line with Nigerian constitution or the political party's constitution. Anything outside the constitution does not
but
be.
Even if it's outside the constitution, I think naturally, more on moral basis. Do you think the power should still be maintained?
You see, morality is law. You cannot determine morality by just thinking about what is moral. How do you define morality? It's the law that dictates what is moral and what is illegal.
So by your own judgment, if, for instance, you take the presidency,
yes,
would you still hand over to Inotona? If, for instance, you are elected?
See, it's about Nigerians will decide who becomes their leader.
Okay.
It is not individuals that say, oh, I want to be president. Of course, God is in control. Christians and Muslims believe that only God gives power. So if you aspire to be president, and God has destined that you are going to be the president, at the entire, he will make the people to accept you.
And you are very positive. It seems you have started even seeing the vision that you will be there someday.
Well,
You're
as
very
I'm talking to you
optimistic,
now,
yeah.
I have scientifically we are using applications, and people are feeling
the numbers are to your favor.
Definitely, we have more than 10 million supporters. I'm talking to you now.
Okay, but let's take this report. We still come back and discuss more on that and other issues.
So that's all right.
The PDP Governors Forum has urged President Muhammadu Buhari to sign the electoral bill into law. They made the call at a meeting in Nenagua, Bayelsa State, where they reviewed the state of the nation and the preparations of the party towards next year's election.
End of the closed-door meeting, Governor Okeze Ikpeazu of Abia State, who is the vice chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, urged President Muhammadu Buhari to immediately sign the Electoral Act Amendment Bill into law, and congratulated PDP for winning 43 out of 62 councillorship positions in the recently concluded area council elections. The governors also expressed displeasure over the issue of contaminated fuel supplied to Nigerians recently and urged government to bring perpetrators to book. The court decision on police trust fund was also welcome, while they maintained that the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission should expedite action on the new revenue allocation formula to increase allocations to states and local governments.
The figures of consumption ascribed to Nigerians appear fictitious and bloated. They called for proper investigation to be conducted on this matter. The forum once again deplored the way and manner the CBN is being run as an alternate government. Indeed, it has become a government within a government.
They also commended Governor Diri on his achievements in 2 years in office.
Still on PDP, the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party has assured the Senate caucus of the party that the National Working Committee will return the party to the winning ways. Let's take a listen.
This interactive session of the PDP NWC with the senators elected on the party's platform is to further strategize on how to position the party towards future electoral victory.
This party must try to be all-inclusive in all its decision-making processes, so that once the leadership is united, the rest of the party will be united, and very soon we'll return the party to its winning ways.
Meanwhile, ahead of 2023 presidential election, a group under the auspices of Coalition of Concerned Groups have added their voices on power shift to the south and the need for younger candidates to emerge come 2023 in the PDP.
Power shift to the south is not just viewed, but is known to be the major stabilizing factor with respect to 2023 elections.
The coalition appealed to the party to exhibit high level of transparency in its presidential primary election.
His Excellency, former governor and former senator, Yerima is still with me in the studio.
Yes.
He just watched that clip and said power going to the south, so 2023, we're going to be a stabilizing factor. Yeah. And probably if I want to turn it around, power does not go to the south, there will be instability, in quote anyway. Yeah. But that is on a lighter note. As a former governor of Zamfara State, Zamfara is in the news, not always for the good reasons, insecurity. Do you, when you were a governor, did you see this coming? And presently, are you at least playing an advisory role to ensure that that situation is arrested?
I never saw it coming because I thought the system we had established in Zamfara, if it had been followed, there wouldn't have been this kind of problem.
What was the system?
First of all, you see, we mobilize people and make sure that we empower them through agricultural program, through education. In agriculture, by the time I had it over, I left over 150,000 metric tons of grains. After Mr. President Olusegun Obasanjo bought more than 50,000 tons of grain, because we gave farmers loans through a program of agriculture that I call Zamfara Comprehensive Agricultural Revolution Program. And in education, we make sure that both women and girls and boys are given free education up to secondary school level, and tertiary institutions, we make sure that we give scholarship that is adequate enough to pay for their tuition fees and maintenance. And the poverty alleviation program was used to empower people, and everybody has something doing. The major problem in insecurity in Nigeria is poverty and illiteracy, ignorance. You see, poverty can make you to go and take arms and looking for what to eat. And ignorance of both religious and Western education, Muslim or Christian, cannot take, if he's properly acquainted or made aware of his religion, will not take arms to go and fight.
But in Zamfara, they also attribute the issue of gold and mining as some of the factors responsible for insecurity.
No,
and here you are talking about only poverty and
those
education.
are just political statements. There is nothing like that. The little illegal mining going on is not enough to create that kind of level of insecurity. It is just poverty and illiteracy.
Do you also visit Zamfara frequently now?
Yes, in fact, like you said, I normally...
Probably a very long convoy,
I normally...
escort kind of?
No, I have only 2 cars, one security vehicle and my car. But I want to assure you that we are discussing with both, at both national level, Mr. President and other stakeholders and the Zamfara State. And very soon, I think you have heard that the thing is going down, and the governor is going to do well, better, in terms of poverty alleviation. And he's making so much effort to ensure that the agricultural program that we had started, Zakaref, will have been revived at least from next year. You will hear things that are going to be better.
Are you in good terms with the governor in terms of working with him to ensure that this problem is solved?
He was my commissioner, the first commissioner for local government. When his politics started, he contested for local government election, and because he was very clever, very good, very reliable, when he lost the chairmanship, I made him the commissioner for local government to supervise the person who defeated him. And today, the person that defeated him, who was his chairman and he was commissioner, has been his commissioner for local government. It's just of recent that he redeployed him to higher education. So I think things would be better by the grace of God, because he has listening ears, and he's doing a lot of consultation with the security agencies at national level.
Probably you have maybe close contact with some of those bandits, but as somebody that is in the political system, not any, on the negative side, but as individuals, maybe you have encountered one of. What are their
These
complaints?
bandits, you don't have anybody who has contact with them, because they are living in the bush, and they don't allow their telephone lines, even to have security, don't even have access to their telephone lines. So it's very difficult to get in touch with them. The government started negotiating initially. Some of them came out, but in the end, they went back to their bush.
Okay, that is good. So on the last line, let's also your word of advice to your party as the convention is fast approaching. We have some 3-4 top candidates trying to vie for the #1 seat in your party. So what advice will you give?
My advice is that they have to have fear of God and be transparent in whatever they are doing, because you can see from the election in FCT, people are no longer, they know what to do. Some people will take money and still vote for candidate of their conscience. So Nigerians are getting more and more enlightened as far as politics is concerned. So we have to have fear of God and transparent in whatever we do. Justice, equity, and fairness is the way to solution for all the political problems we have.
It has been a very insightful moment with you, Your Excellency, former Governor of Zamfara State and former Senator and presidential hopeful.
Thank you very much.
Probably I'm going to be your South coordinator.
We are very much welcome, very much welcome.
That is the much you can take on today's edition of Political Updates. Do join us again on Friday, the same station, the same time, for another insightful package.